And welcome to another show, South Texas Now. This is attorney and nurse practitioner Joe Flores, reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KRS, KZTV, KTMV, and 3 other channels and 5 other platforms. So we're coming at you here in South Texas, and I say hi to my mom. Bienvenidos a todos que hablan nuestro idioma español también, y bienvenido mis amigos que falan portugués. So we're going to start off here by bringing on a historical woman. I know who you all are thinking, and yes, she's historical, not because she's old. She's beautiful and young and vibrant and smart. That's the kind of leadership we need. But the first woman in 150 years to be your county judge. And not only that, Latina de boot, ching! So welcome on, Barbara Canales. Hi, Judge.
Thank you, Joe. What a nice introduction.
Well, I try. It's been so long, I better make up for it.
It has. I really relish the opportunity to be here. And when we did interview last, one of the things that I love about those interviews is they do have longevity. So it was not too long ago that someone said, hey, I saw you on, KMTV. And I think what they saw was a YouTube, historical archive of an interview. But it really was a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to having another one here today.
Yes. In fact, I'm thinking about, your esteemed uncle, so granduncle, rather.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Hector.
Dr. Hector, and he's got that archive there in Corpus Christi. I'd like to make you a part of it, so we can live, quote-unquote, forever.
Okay. Well, they really were icons. So many members of my family, Dr. Cleo, Dr. Hector, I don't know if you saw the news, but just this week was a very eventful week. Krista Spahn Memorial had a big press conference. And of course, many years ago, they made a decision to move all the services to Shoreline. But we still have the Dr. Hector P. Garcia Family Memorial Center. And that center is going to really need expansion. And so I'll be championing the expansion of those services and that very hallowed ground.
Well, I know that you were conflicted about it. I know at one time you thought about maybe, with COVID, opening up Memorial again and seeing the cost-benefit analysis. But in the end, it was a blow for me, too, because the culture is different.
Yes.
We had a different, rich culture on the west side, but because of the consolidation of things, well, you know best.
Let's bring it back. One of the things that the city has done is done a West Side Gateway development study, and I got a chance to participate in that. And I can tell you that that ground where Memorial is given to the county by way of the hospital district. They're the owners, and it always has to be used for health. So let me share with everybody that Memorial did gave us a great gift. Even though she was almost closed down, there was only one floor operational over in the last few years there. We were able to do mass drive-through testing. The first, we were not first, Joe. We were second in the state, but only by an hour. San Antonio had the first one. But we had the very, earliest drive-through testing when COVID first hit, which was really essential to our community. We also had vaccinations there, mass vaccinations. We did rapid infusions there. We had a COVID clinic on those grounds. There were so many important ways that Memorial contributed. When we did the mixing of the vaccine, the pharmacologist would be inside what used to be the entry lobby. And so she served her purpose so well. And because we were not able to do the alternate care site there, I'll tell you what happened. It sparked the light bulb, and we were able to open up an alternate care site inside the Shoreline facility. So while Memorial did not get officially open, it was that beautiful building that paved the way to take care of a community once more. And just like she did in 1944 when she opened for polio, she was able to see us through the most difficult time. So I think that, as they say, well done, in the sense of how Christus came to not only be our partner, but to use all assets to save a community.
Well said. As a healthcare provider and somebody who defends frontline providers, I would say this, that I've heard a lot of really sad stories during COVID. I know you were on the ground a lot every day.
Every day.
Updating everybody in Spanish and English.
Yes.
I'd hear you on our public service, our public radio. And
it was such a difficult time.
Yeah.
Such
Tell
a
us about
challenging
it.
time. Well, it was a challenging time because we had to completely pivot all county services. The most important one was making certain that our jail was safe for our staff, and also that the court system could function, but in a completely different way. All the services that you normally think of when you think of a county, from social services, veteran services, your courts, your juvenile, everything had to be completely transitioned. And we did it, Joe. We did such a great job of making all of our courts go remote, from the JPs all the way to the district courts. And we were able to make certain that all technology was advanced throughout that county so that we could all participate. And that's not just the legal field. Those are the social workers and the people that, needed to make certain that those essential basics were being provided, like internet for our kids when they had to go remote.
Oh,
right?
yes.
So our library system turned out to be a huge resource. Our law library handled and helped people who were being forced with eviction papers. Our veteran services was out there mobile, being able to take care of our huge veteran population. So your entire county was able to rise to the occasion. And that's been my theme, is we have a call to rise up when the challenges are calling. But it's not just for viruses. We were there for this county for hurricanes, for the floods, for the drought, and of course for those horrible wildfires that plague South Texas. So my office is a unique one, Joe. It handles not only the administrative side of things, but the emergency management. And I think we have had an incredible 4 years of results that have proven that we are indeed a strong and resilient county, from the nuts and bolts money all the way to the services and the people that provide those to you.
Well, and let me ask you this. How are you going to handle, or how are you prospected to handle the COVID plus possible brownouts or blackouts with ERCOT?
Right. So one of the things that we've done, and I'm really proud of this because I've helped to spearhead, is that we have made sure that our FEMA grants are always working for us. So we applied for some grants in 2019. This was way ahead of the winter storm. And because of those grants that we received from FEMA, we are able to provide our main critical infrastructure with generators, but not any old generators, natural gas fire generators.
Burns clean.
Burns clean, but more importantly, during a winter storm, that diesel can gel up on you. And we know during winter storm, all roads were closed to South Texas. Mm-hmm. So we have really made certain that our critical infrastructure has the generators that they need to stay steady so that we can continue to help our citizens. We've also requested from TDM, and we're very happy to say that TDM, our Texas Division of Emergency Management, of which I report to as the county judge, they are building strategic warehouses all over the state. Why? So that we can have strategic reserves of water and basic necessities in case anything does happen. And then furthermore, they've strengthened our department. So we used to have only one representative from the state that I could rely on, but I'd have to share him with all the counties in our Council of Governments. Now we're going to have 7. So I'm very proud to say that Texas, and indeed county judges and counties all over South Texas, have been joining forces to not only avail themselves of the dollars that are available to us, but more importantly, we have asked and they have answered for more resources so that we can keep our people safe.
Well, and you bring up a good, when you bring everybody together in the community, it's not only the government, but also what I like is your approach. It's not so much like the sort of right wing meeting the military-industrial complex, but rather a good working relationship with corporate business and also with government.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of wins.
Absolutely, Joe. And that's a myth, right? There are some myths out there. And they come because we have become a social media culture. And that's why I love these types of interviews that help us explain the real story, or as some Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. The rest of the story. And the rest of the story is that the myth is that we don't at the county have a strong working relationship that allows us to get things done. And that's completely false. We have a great working relationship with every single federal agency. And of course, all of our state agencies. That's why we've been able to bring home the bacon. We've been able to bring over $150 million worth of grants. And we also have been, which are our money, right? We pay that federal tax money and we bring it back home. And we do that because we are truly fierce in our ability to be aggressive and say, we're going to go after those
and
dollars.
You are fierce. Yeah,
I am a warrior. I'm a warrior.
Good.
There's no doubt about it. And the people need that. You know, for too long, Joe, we've lived under the status quo. We haven't grown. We haven't reached our potential. Now you see us coming of age, almost like an adolescent who grows into that mature adult. Our sparkling city by the sea, the urban center of Nueces County, is growing. Our rural communities, our Northwest Corridor is growing. Tesla on our back door, Amazon on our back door, I-69 corridor, rail, bringing the most military loads than we have in any other port. Military load-ins happening here in the Port of Corpus Christi, the #1 oil export port. Joe, it's all happening, but it's not happening because of magic. It's happening because of strong leadership.
Okay, and we've got a minute left, but, you know, before we go, parting words before and we're going to come back.
Okay.
So get your popcorn, pickle, and everything else, and stay tuned. But parting words for the community on this topic regarding a kind of partnership with the public and business and you know, all that.
So I think the parting words here before we break is simply that we have created partnerships all across the state of Texas. And what that's been able to bring to us is the General Land Office as our partner at our back door on our coastal parks and beaches. People like to talk about what happened during COVID with our beaches. What we like to talk about is the investment we're making for the next 50 years, from a fully funded Bob Hall Pier all the way to shoreline protection and erosion from North Beach to Padre Valle Park. It's an exciting time, but it doesn't stop there. The next wave of partnerships begins with the Corps of Engineers and also our state partners from GLO, bringing drainage solutions for everybody in Nueces County, but particularly the most vulnerable amongst us, those living in low to moderate income areas from Robstown all the way to Bishop. This is our future, and it starts because we have really great partnerships, people who have said, we believe in you, Nueces County, and that's why we're going to give you these grants.
Well said, and we're going to take a break. Stay tuned so you can learn more and how it benefits you to watch this interview when we come back.